Today we'll talk about parts of speech in English. You might be thinking, what's the point? Why is this so important? Well, as we saw earlier, knowing a word's part of speech might help you identify what its use is in the sentence and also its correct position in the sentence, so word order. Finally, when we study English, it's really useful to have vocabulary to talk about these words, nouns, verbs, adjectives, so that it's clear what word we're talking about. Can you name the 9 parts of speech in English? Noun, pronoun, verb, adjective, adverb, conjunction, preposition, determiner, interjection. A noun names a word. A pronoun replaces a noun. A verb is an action or state. An adjective describes a noun. An adverb describes a verb or another adjective or another adverb. A conjunction joins words or clauses. Prepositions show a relationship. Determiner helps quantify or clarify a noun. And finally, an interjection expresses emotion. Before we continue, there are a few things to note. Each part of speech can be divided into different categories. For example, there can be count nouns and non-count nouns, or proper nouns and common nouns. A part of speech can have more than one use. For example, the engineers focused on the task. The focus of the meeting was decided last week. In one, focus is used as a verb. In the other, focus is a noun. And 2 words can seem the same in English but differ due to parts of speech. For example, affect and effect. Effect is a noun and affect is a verb. The effects affected the whole experiment. A noun. A noun names a word. A noun can be a person, animal, a place, thing, or idea. For example, Danielle, Willingdon Avenue, raccoon, desk, time. Can you think of any more ideas? And their sentence position. He is starting a new firm in September. How many nouns did you see here? I saw 3. As you can see, nouns can come in the beginning, middle, or end of the sentence. Pronoun. A pronoun is used in place of a noun in order to avoid repetition, like I, you, us, them, it, one, those. When David works on a project, David doesn't stop. Instead of this, we would say, when David works on a project, he doesn't stop. The position in the sentence might be similar to a noun, but you'll also notice that a proper noun will be named first, and in the next clause or sentence, the pronoun will occur. Verbs. Verbs can be an action or a state. An action is something like watch, create, develop, and a state is a verb like be, feel, and know. Verbs are usually located after nouns or pronouns in sentences. For example, they successfully connected the hardware. Let's move on to adjectives. An adjective describes or gives more information about a noun or pronoun. For example, effective, practical, experimental. An adjective will come before a noun or after a verb of state. For example, that is a logical conclusion, or the conclusion is logical. Adverbs can describe or give more information about a verb, adjective, or adverb. It often tells us how often, where, when, or to what extent something happened. For example, frequently, suddenly, backwards, quite. The team was quite stressed. They frequently worked backwards to find solutions. There are different positions for adverbs in a sentence. For example, adverbs of frequency might come at the beginning of a sentence, while an adverb of place comes at the end. A conjunction joins words, ideas, phrases, or clauses together and shows the relationship between ideas. For example, and, because, or, but, until, if. Even though video conferencing is convenient, it is not as personal as face-to-face. Here, we can see that two ideas are contrasted by the use of the conjunctive adverb even though. Some conjunctions will appear between two words or clauses. Others will appear at the beginning of a sentence or between two clauses. Let's talk about prepositions. Prepositions show the relationship of a noun, noun phrase, or pronoun to another word. These are words like at, on, in, from, with, about. For example, corrosion in the pipes is extremely dangerous. This is an example of a preposition of place because we get to know that the corrosion is inside the pipes. Of course, a preposition will always be followed by a noun or a pronoun. Next, a determiner. A determiner helps quantify or clarify a noun by telling us which noun it refers to. For example, I saw a client or I saw the client. And we get to know if it is specific or general, or also quantity. I saw many clients. Therefore, this part of speech will always be located before a noun. Finally, the last part of speech is the interjection, which expresses emotion. Hey! Whoa! Ow! As you can see, it's more common in spoken English. And those are the parts of speech in English. Knowing them can help you determine a word's function and position in a sentence and keep you from confusing two similar words with different parts of speech. So when you note down new vocabulary words, also include their part of speech. Thanks for listening.